So Playboy Carti's I Am Music has finally dropped this Friday after the very long 5-year wait. Ever since the release of Whole Lotta Red, it's time to talk about this album finally in its entirety. Throughout the 5 years, we've had a lot of delays and a lot of samples not being cleared, so there's a lot of hiccups going on through that. And in terms of delays, I unfortunately am a Ye fan, so I'm used to having delays out the ass and no sort of update whatsoever. I'm already used to having 10 million delays for an album, so I don't care at this point. However, he finally kept his word this weekend. The album finally dropped, and I think it's time that we talk about it because there's so much to unpack here. So the very first question that's on everyone's mind, including myself, is whether or not this 5-year wait was worth it. Playboy Carti has unfortunately one of the worst track records in terms of dropping things on time, and the same goes for I Am Music. There has been about 3 to 4 different times this album got announced or was hoping to be released last year, and of course none of those happened, or else we would have the album earlier than expected. I don't know what the release was. A little bit before releasing it, he did mention on a couple people's Instagram that there's a lot of clearance samples that didn't get cleared. However, this really shouldn't be an issue if we were waiting 4 to 5 years for it. There's no really clear answer of what happened to this album, but something must have gone wrong in order for the wait to be that long. And now let's finally talk about the album itself. I want to talk about the pros and the cons. Starting off with the cons, I think the 5-year wait is a little bit ridiculous, and the fact that it's 30 tracks does feel like there is a small bit of filler going on. But again, it is a 5-year wait, and I think with the hype that it got and the hype that it followed before the release of the album, I think we got what we deserved, and I'm happy with what we got. In the span of 5 years, this album got delayed like 4 to 5 different times, and then the rollout itself had different various NBA football teams all tagging Playboy Carti for the album to drop. So I think the hype itself carried a lot of traction towards it, and this kind of just helped the album create the numbers that it did, and it ended up breaking a record to having one of those streamed albums in a single day for this year. So I really think that the wait was deserved, and I think he dropped it at a perfect time right before Rolling Loud, just to create a little bit more tension and hype. So I think, in my opinion, I think the wait was worth it. And now let's talk about the pros of this album, because I think the pros of this album transformed this into a very high rating for me. Like the title implies, bro is music. He is creating very unique tracks and very unique features, sounds that shine on Carti's beat. If you had told me back in 2020 when Whole Lotta Red dropped that Carti would feature Kendrick Lamar on an album, I would think you're lying. But then with the release of I Am Music, we now have Kendrick Lamar on 3 different tracks, and I think he shines completely great on these albums, or these songs, sorry. I think the fact that we hear Kendrick on a Carti beat is really unique to me, and again, it's one of those sounds that I never thought would expect. As for the intro itself, Pop Out, unfortunately, as a fan and as someone that's been listening to his entire discography, I would say it's more on the weaker side. However, I still love it for what it is. We have heard this song teased on his story before, but again, just for this intro of this album, it is on the weaker side. That doesn't mean it's a bad album, but comparing to all of them, it does feel a little bit weaker than the rest. The first 4 tracks on this album are things that we've heard on his previous Instagram story, and just getting the official drop, I think it's a great for what it is. Evil Jordan, we then jumped to that, and we did hear this back in Complex Con tease last year, and of course it had that crazy beat that I absolutely loved and got addicted to. Like, let me just paint this picture in your head really quick just so you can see where I'm coming from, right? I was listening to the song with a couple buddies, and I ended up breaking my chair and the wheels fell off and whatever, just because I was super excited to hear that damn track. It goes hard, I can't lie. The intro itself is really freaking good, and I'm excited to just get it in the actual release, because I'm tired of finding it on YouTube and playing it from there. So the fact that we finally got that intro kind of going to that transition with again, Evil Jordan, I think it's perfect for what it is, and I'm glad that more got added onto it than what we heard back in Las Vegas last year. We then jumped to Philly, our very first song that features a featured artist And this song has Playboi Carti and Travis Scott. As soon as I heard this song, I knew this was going to feature Travis Scott. It has that similar feel to Utopia, and every single time that Travis Scott is featured on Playboi Carti's album, something about his beats just shine, and it just matches well with Travis Scott's energy. So in terms of the song itself, I really like it for what it is.
Wow. Brand new eyes and brand new nose. Let's go. Let's go. Bend it over, touch your toes.
When Whole Lotta Dread dropped, he had a lot of that dark aesthetic going on that Playboi Carti is known for. With iMusic, it's a little bit different. It kind of has that, I guess best way to put it would be like Lil Uzi, like alien out of this world beat influence, if that makes any sense. With tracks like Mojo Jojo and Radar, which follows right after Philly, has a lot of that like alien out of this world aesthetic that is very unique to Playboi Carti's sound, and it kind of just matches his energy really well. One of the biggest surprises for this album was the song Backdoor featuring Kendrick Lamar once again and Jhené Aiko. When I first listened to this track, I was very confident it was SZA singing with Kendrick Lamar. Turns out Jhené Aiko. This song kind of has that similar feel to that song at GNX that features SZA as well. So the fact that this sort of style is on Playboi Carti's album, it's a sound that I never thought he would have, but it's very welcome to hear. Another highlight for me was the song Good Credit featuring Playboi Carti and Kendrick Lamar. This is another full track where Kendrick Lamar has a couple verses on the song, and something about him on a Playboi Carti beat matched really well, and it's an energy that I never would expect from Kendrick Lamar given the discography he has. So it's just one of those beats that I don't know what it is with Playboi Carti, but every single feature just shines on his album, and I really like it for that. A thing that cracked me up about this track is that he has this line about carrying the weight. He's Luka Doncic. I don't know exactly what this implies, but it just cracked me up because, like, if you're out of the loop with this whole Maverick and Laker trade going on situation, there's a rumor going on that Mavericks traded out Luka Doncic because of his weight, right? And that they were concerned that he was getting an exceptionally, I want to say large, but more excessive than what he claimed to be, and they decided to trade him out to the Lakers because of it, right? He also does carry a huge amount of weight in terms of the team. Now the Mavericks have been a terrible losing streak with like the amount of losses that and injuries that they have on the team itself. So it could be two different things. It just cracked me up the way that this line was presented in the song. And now we have lastly my favorite track from the entire album, named We Need All the Vibes with Playboi Carti, Young Thug, and Ty Dolla $ign. I wouldn't put this song at a 9 out of 10, nor even a 10 out of 10. It is a perfect 11 out of 10, 50 out of 10, or even 100 out of 10 for me. The fact that it features Young Thug, he did go free around fall, winterish of last year. I can't remember exactly the date. I will post it on the screen. But last year, it sounds like immediately after that, there was a 4 to 5 month period before this album released, so it sounded like he went right to the studio with Playboi Carti as well. This album itself is something that I didn't expect from him as well, because with this whole like police like situation he had, possibly facing jail time and everything, it sounded like a lot of the songs were used against him as well. So this is just a cleaner, like, I don't want to say cleaner outlook, but a different sound of him that we didn't expect. So if there was ever going to be a situation with featuring the police and Young Thug again, I'm pretty sure they're gonna set bro free, just because of that he dropped another banger, and I don't think the police are gonna have any more suspicions moving forward. So thank you so much, truly humble under God, for dropping a banger with Playboi Carti. I hope we get to hear more of these sounds on a future album as well, but I just want to say thank you for dropping this track.
Make sure that she vibing. I make sure that they vibing. I don't wanna know, I'm too rich to know. Half a million in my ears, I can listen on. Green diamonds, now your wrists all pissing on. And I'm balling on these pussy niggas chemo. I got rich now.
So the 5-year wait is finally over, and we finally have iMusic for us to all enjoy Playboi Carti's next album. Yes, the delays and the 5-year wait was a little bit excessive for us to handle, and it did get extremely crazy at times. There was times where we felt like the album was just completely canceled in its entirety. There was a time point where the album rollout for Narcissist was going to happen that ended up getting canceled, and now we have iMusic. After 5 years, I generally am going to say, surprisingly, I think the wait was worth it. Yes, 5 years is a little bit extreme content we have itself, these songs and the features that shine within the album, I think it's something that a sound that we never really heard from PLAYBOI CARTI, as well as the features like I mentioned earlier. The fact that we have a Kendrick Lamar verse in a PLAYBOI CARTI track is something that I never thought would ever happen. But again, I am very appreciative with all of the like features and all the like unique sounds that we have for this album. So yeah, in my opinion, it's definitely up there, and I really think the wait was worth it, surprisingly. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's talk about this album and what you think about it. The overall reception for this album has been great, and I would like to know what you all think in the comment section below. So thank you so much for supporting this channel. It has been a little bit since my last video, but I just want to say thank you so much for the constant support. If you're new to this channel, I just want to say welcome to the channel. I am someone that likes to cover all sorts of pop culture, whether that be music, films, movies, shows, even anime as well. I like to cover it all. I am just someone that enjoys covering all sorts of music, all sorts of content, and all sorts of media. If it's something that you want to keep watching and keep supporting, please don't be afraid and don't be shy to hit that subscribe button down below. Any small sort of feedback will help me to improve this channel. So I just want to give a big thank you to everyone that's here sticking around with me and to the very end and continuing support as well. We're almost very close to reaching 1,000 subscribers, and I couldn't do it with any of you, so thank you so much for that. So I just want to give a big thank you. I'll catch you in the next video, and I hope you all take care. Peace.